I mean, how many tens and thousands of people had died because my buddy Trump didn't want to mess up his makeup? That's the real reason Trump doesn't wear a mask. When he does, it fucks up his makeup and spray tan, yeah, and he's an alpha male. Just like nothing says heterosexual white supremacy like David Duke. It's not the first time we used a Trump to spread disease. Little known fact, his father Fred Trump was the guy that fucked the AIDS monkey. That's why his hair's all fucked up like that. This is Doom Tonight. Welcome to hell.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime.
Hospitals are still swamped more than that week all those kids ate Tide Pods. And it all started with this guy downplaying the virus and saying masks were for pussies because when he took it off, it looked like he was wearing one of Snooki's maxi pads. Seriously, that's so fucking gross. Like, Trump is so orange, the ghost of Gene Wilder keeps trying to adopt him into chocolate-based indentured servitude. You know, indentured servitude. Like what student loans had done to younger generations in America, causing millennials for the first time to have less wealth than the generation before. It's so weird. Anyways, are you having a fun pandemic? I've been catching up on the Royals on Netflix. Yeah, my favorite storyline was when Prince Charles was involved in a car accident and hit a deer at the royal estate. The deer's name? Dodi Al-Fayed. But my all-time favorite part of the pandemic is seeing one party in a two-party system completely fall into authoritarianism and try to overturn an American election.
More than 100 House Republicans are now supporting a long-shot Texas lawsuit, also supported by the president, aimed at overturning the results in 4 swing states Joe Biden won. Pennsylvania's Democratic Attorney General called the lawsuit a seditious abuse of judicial process, and even some Republicans blasted it.
I do not understand the legal theory.
126 congressmen voted to overturn an American election. Holy shit. And I thought I was good at my job when I invented affliction t-shirts. You know, affliction t-shirts, the Axe body spray of menswear. On the front they say things like, I stand on a hill of 1,000 skulls. And on the back it says stuff like, I've always wanted anal, but I've never had the courage to ask. It's like I put an affliction t-shirt on American democracy. Check out how good I am at this shit. Shortly after the election, Politico found 70% of Republicans now say they don't believe the 2020 election was free and fair. A stark rise from the 35% of GOP voters who held similar beliefs before the election. And it still hasn't gotten better. A recent Fox News poll found that 77% of Trump voters and 68% of Republicans think they live in a reality where the election was stolen from Trump. And what's more, 36% of the country believe Trump's anti-democratic coup attempt is actually strengthening the country. And that's what makes me good at my job. That's like 36% of the country believing Brock Turner just gets horny around dumpsters. It's insane, just utterly insane. Like, Republicans have lost their minds quicker than Hillary Clinton's southern accent.
You know, they've just been minding their own business and they got hit by a meteor. You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette.
It's amazing how regional dialects change when Bill starts running a national race. 126 Republican congressmen supporting a strongman coup in the United States. Can you friggin' believe it? 70% of a party want to overthrow an election the president's own Homeland Security Department called the most secure in American history, with zero evidence of anything, no deleted or changed votes or nothing. It's like they want one man to have complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce to his liking, and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism, or in other words, the dictionary definition of fascism. This isn't fun conspiracy. Like when the New York Times publishes UFO stories, there would have been more sightings, but the last UFO had a Blue Lives Matter sticker. These aren't just conspiracies. Nah, this shit is dangerous, just the way I like it.
Now, tonight, millions of Americans, you do feel betrayed. According to Politico, look at this. 70% of Republicans, they don't believe this election was free, fair, and for good reason. We saw blatant election law violations in state after state. We've watched the poll observers push 6, 20, some even saying to cameras and now on affidavits 100 feet away. Mail-in ballots with no postmarks, laws blatantly changed last minute or just ignored, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
These aren't just conspiracies, they're a call to action. That's the thing about conspiracies. Followers don't think they're ending democracy, they think they're saving it. If you think Democrats are stealing an election, or you're willing to think they're molesting kids at a pizza parlor, you would do anything to stop that, including overturning what you see as an unfair election and letting the man who stopped all that do whatever he wants. It's like that Dylan song, only a pawn in their game. It doesn't matter if all this shit is crazy, or that the Trump campaign's legal strategy is so dull and underdeveloped, the one remaining Planned Parenthood in Missouri tried to abort it. Conspiracies have been used by authoritarians the world over to foment division and consolidate support, as sort of Rubicon for the rubes. Fascism didn't rise because people were willing to hand over their democracies. It happened because they were willing to believe conspiracy theories that achieved the same end. For Hitler, this was leftists and shadowy Jewish elites who were the cause of all society's problems. For Mussolini, it was socialists plotting after contested elections. Sound familiar? For Belichick, it was the Patriots didn't straight up steal a Super Bowl like at Spring Break '98, and Belichick wasn't filming the Rams sideline like a cameraman for Girls Gone Wild. Just saying, they got caught doing it again last year, nothing happens to him. Fucking Belichick, love that guy. Conspiracies are used by authoritarians as a fulcrum point to end democracy. It doesn't matter if the shit's true or ridiculous. For Trumpites, liberals are both over-feminized pussies and at the same time ruthless autocratic thugs who stole an election. You think those soy boy losers at MSNBC are gonna steal your election? No way. But I would totally bang out Hayes or Maddow though. When it's 4 a.m. after a few amyl nitrates, who can tell the difference? Put that on TV and you'll beat Fox News. I fucking love it. Even though 70% of people believe this is stupid, ignorance is still overrepresented in Congress. That's why you have to keep hearing about election shit for the same reason America can't get things done like, I don't know, background checks, even though 90% of Americans support it, including 75% of NRA members. And that reason is gerrymandering.
This is not a Rorschach test, and these are not patients.
Oh, those are his ears flapping.
Oh, the ears are flapping. Oh, okay, I got it.
They're suburban Philadelphia voters who live next door to Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District, nicknamed Goofy Kicking Donald for its absurd, well, you can see why. This district is one of the most gerrymandered in America.
What we're looking at is a disgrace, a political disgrace. There's no reason for that kind of gerrymandering. Here it is, folks. The politicians just jiggle it around to meet their needs, not our needs.
They're angry because they say their Democratic-leaning communities were deliberately kept out of the 7th and lumped into the heavily Republican 16th District, ensuring that both went red.
It causes people, I think, to wonder, why should they even go out to vote?
Gerrymandering is the manipulation of voting district lines, usually to give one party an advantage over the other. But how these shapes got to be so wacky is the issue here. Pennsylvania Democrats say the Republican-controlled state house drew these lines, or gerrymandered them, to create as many safe Republican seats as possible. Last election, Republicans won little more than half of the statewide vote, but the lion's share of congressional seats, 13 out of 18.
That's why I love it. In an already partisan country, gerrymandering forces politicians to cater to extremist elements in their party rather than focus on consensus governing. Like solving gerrymandering would cause representatives to build from coalitions of different backgrounds in a way that could heal the United States. I mean, that would be terrible.
We shouldn't have to rig the system in our favor, or the Democrats shouldn't have to rig the system in their favor.
Blum is a Tea Party Republican who represents Iowa's 1st, a Democratic-leaning district. Blum says he can't afford to ignore any of his constituents.
With gerrymandering, the politician knows that they can be extreme right or extreme left and get reelected. If the district was more like mine, split evenly, then you're looking at every bill. What's a Republican think of this? What's a Democrat think of this? What's an independent think of it?
His is not a typical district. Nationwide gerrymandering is one reason that the number of competitive congressional seats, those where both parties have a good shot of winning, has plunged over the past 20 years from 164 to just 72.
That's not only how you end up with the most corona deaths in the world, or how extremely unpopular policy goals set the agenda in Congress, it's also how minority voters get literally cut out of the conversation, specifically to help create more white districts. As it is now, minorities get packed in districts and underrepresented in Congress in a process known as racial gerrymandering, which is primarily used to segregate the black vote.
I live in the Triangle area now, but because of gerrymandering, this district is the same district as my hometown, 120 miles from here.
Prior to the split, we were in District 12, and we were represented by an A&T alum, Alma Adams, who was a Democrat for many, many years. And after that, we saw it went from a Democratic person of color to 2 older white men. They've used technology, different ways to see who lives where.
Isn't that so fucked up? This is the actual pattern of most gerrymandered districts. That's no different than segregating schools or restaurants. It's worse, actually. They're segregating congressional counties, the vote, and democracy itself. And that's how you end up with something like this. What is that even? It's Texas's 2nd congressional district, currently represented by Republican Dan Crenshaw. It's insane. It also happens to be the shape of Dan Crenshaw's next eye patch. It's completely ridiculous. Politicians are picking their voters instead of the other way around. But that's what hell does, baby. We just like to get in touch with our inner GOP operative. Crenshaw's district was actually found to be one of the 12 worst gerrymandered districts in the country. The 2nd district, held since the start of the year by Dan Crenshaw, is a result of extreme Republican gerrymandering in Texas. If the district were less oddly shaped and contorted, it would actually be quite difficult for a Republican to win in this area. Demographic and population shifts show that the Houston metropolitan area is becoming increasingly more Democratic. Instead of somebody who would actually look more like Houston, you get Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, you know, that famously Caucasian city of Houston. Famous for its grills and strip clubs of exclusively flat-assed women. The funniest thing about it, if not for segregated gerrymandering, we wouldn't have been able to unleash the greatest thing in the world. This weird fucking ad Dan Crenshaw made for Georgia.
This victory tonight, it's about you. It's about defining those. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back. What's our situation on the ground?
We have 2 patriots down there, Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue. Great fighters with a great message.
They just need a little backup.
Are they gonna fuck? I knew they were gonna fuck. This is like a Brazzers, right? There's so much latent homosexuality on here. Lindsey Graham just voted against its rights, then signed up for its OnlyFans page. It's a Brazzer. I've seen these. Like if I were to ask Dan Crenshaw, who do you want me to bring to the everybody fuck Dan Crenshaw in the ass party? He would answer,
bring everyone.
Dan, are you sure, buddy? You can come a little late. You don't gotta get fucked in the ass the whole time.
Negative. I want to say hello to the greeting party. What's the bearing?
90 degrees from your current heading. Be well, sir.
Why is this ad so bad? And Congressman, why are you jumping out of a plane? Do you not have Hertz? You can drive to the everybody fuck Dan Crenshaw on the ass party. Man, I miss those parties. Fucking air herpes ruins everything. I don't know, should we watch more? I'm getting kind of schadenfreude just watching it. You know schadenfreude? It's the most German word ever. It means getting joy from other people's pain. That's like if Native Americans had a word for giving the white man tobacco. Should we watch a little bit more? Okay, let's watch a little bit more.
I don't even know why I'm so angry, you know? Oh, the news told us to be.
Okay, damn, Dan. Boy, can't wait to start the party. Yo, if I'm in hell already and I say a skull fucking joke, where would they send me? Everybody knows there's only one place worse than hell, and that's the audience at the James Corden Show. This has been Dune Tonight. Don't love your neighbor this holiday season. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next week.